Hello and welcome to lesson 2. Today we're going to be manipulating some topographic data. So remember we were using the 3-meter resolution digital elevation model from the East River Basin that is focused on Snodgrass Mountain here. So I've just brought it in, and let's say I want to take a look at what sort of values are held in this raster. You can use the identify results tool up here, and you can click on a particular pixel and see that we've got 3,200 meters of elevation right about there. If this panel does not exist, you can go to View, Panels, and make sure that you've got these checks. So identify results, and then you're also going to want processing toolbox for these next couple steps checked here as well. So now that I've got that in and ready to go, I maybe want to make it into a more recognizable color scheme. So I'm going to right click, go to properties, and I'll bring up all these options in the properties. And the one I want is symbology. I'm already on it. And the render type, I'm going to change to single band pseudo color. And you get a whole bunch of options here, but it shows you a couple sort of the default ones. This is going to be the quick and dirty way to make it look as much like a topo map as I've found. So I like spectral, and I like to invert the color ramp. So blues are low, red are high, and I'm going to press OK, and that's what we got going on here. So this is sort of replicating something called the hypsometric tint, which is used in a lot of topographic cartography. So our next step here is going to change this into a hillshade. A hillshade is sort of imagining that there's a light source coming from a certain angle, and it illuminates the topography in certain ways and allows you to contextualize it super easily just on a glance. So if you go to your processing toolbox and type in Hillshade, under raster terrain analysis, Hillshade is your option right there. Make sure that in your elevation layer, you've got your digital elevation model. You don't need to change any of these. I mean, you can if you want to play around with it, but I think the defaults work really well. And then these 3 buttons, or these 3 dots right here, will allow you to save this to a file. So I'm simply just going to call this Hillshade. You will probably want something more descriptive than that to be able to know what you've made. So I suggest adding things like 3 meter or your study area, that kind of thing. But for this demo, I'm just going to do Hillshade. Go ahead and run that, and it gets you this really nice rendering of the topography. The details really start to come out. You can change the color scheme if you want, but I still think the grays are some of the best option here. So that is a great way to make nice maps. So the next thing I want to do is I want to make slopes, a slope raster. So if you type in slope in your processing toolbox under raster terrain analysis, slope right here, make sure you've got your digital elevation model. You can see there are a couple options. As you build, more options will show up, and I'm going to save this one simply as slope, but you probably want something more descriptive. I'm going to go ahead and run that, and I get a rendering of the slope raster. I want to make it a little more obvious what we're looking at, so I'm going to change it to single band pseudo color, and I like magma for slope. It really highlights the steep slopes. And these little dots are houses that are showing up because the resolution of this DEM is pretty good, so those houses are actually showing up. Okay, the next thing I want to do is aspect. And so under raster terrain analysis, aspect again, make sure that you've got your digital elevation model in, save it to your working files, and go ahead and run it. And once you've got aspect here, you can go ahead and change the color scheme. I don't know, I think the easiest one for just a quick and dirty one is turbo right here. And you can see some of the aspects start to highlight themselves, the north facing aspects in here. The last thing that's always a good idea to do is to inspect your data. We've just run a couple tools. We want to make sure that we've got things done correctly. So I'm going to go back to my DEM here. I'm going to hide these other ones. And I want to make sure that things are within a reasonable range. So I'm going to go properties again. And this is a really powerful tool, this histogram. So we can see our minimum, our maximum, and we can see kind of where the elevation distribution is in here. We can do the same thing for something like slope. We get a nice distribution sort of like that. So this is a great way to check everything. Last step, just remember to save. All right, we'll see you in the next video.